What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Chu here from Choose to Explore, where I teach you to see the world and save a dollar. So today we got another rendition of our Travel Tip Tuesday, where I teach you guys how I specifically go about saving for trips. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. For the last 4 years, I personally have not made over $30,000. I've been to over 25 countries, and I've been able to do that because how I specifically go about saving for trips. The first thing I do before I even have the trip is picking when I can travel. So I have some other videos on my channel where I talk about working a 9 to 5 or traveling as a student, how you can use your vacation days or time off to travel. But number one is just finding out when you can travel. Now you have a timeline and you can budget appropriately for when and how much you need for that trip. So tip number 2 is picking a destination. So personally for myself, I don't always choose a destination. Wherever is a cheap flight dictates where I go. But when there are times where I want to go specific places, picking a destination gives you an idea for how much you need to budget. Now once you have a timeline and you have a destination, the next thing that you need to do is create a budget. So you just look up what the flight prices are, look up how much the activities are at the specific destination, and then you also look at how much your accommodation will be there. And a lot of places online have different guides where they show you how much it costs in a specific place or how much you would like to budget, or depending on how extravagant you like to be on your vacations. So I know if I have 6 months and I have $1,200 budgeted for it, I know that I need to put $200 a month towards my travel fund in order for this to happen. And I think it's really important to have a dedicated savings account, because especially if you don't plan on touching that money, while your money is being put away, it is also accruing interest at the same time. So what I personally do is after every single paycheck I get, I dedicate every single dollar to go to a specific place. Down below in the descriptions, you'll see different links of different high yield savings account that you can use as well. Now, while I just move my money around, there are other different apps that you can use that actually move the money for you, so you don't even have to consciously think about moving that money to the side. The first app that I'll talk about is an app called Digit. Now this account, Digit, actually moves the money from your checking account to your savings account. So it is doing the job that you were going to do for you, so that you can't say, oh, I couldn't do it because of this and that. It just does it for you. I believe that this app is free for the first 30 days, but then there is some kind of fee. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but if it allows you to save and you wouldn't do it without it, I think it's worth it. And there also is an app called Capital with a Q. Now what Capital does is it rounds up your debit card spending to the nearest $5 increment and automatically moves that to a different savings account. So for example, if you spend $20.92, what it'll do is it'll take the $4.08 and move that to a separate account dedicated to travel fund or whatever fund you want it to be. Now it doesn't have to be to the $5 increment. You can do it to whatever increment you would like through the application. And once again, this app is good, especially if you typically wouldn't move that money for yourself. Let the app do the work for you just so that you can be afforded the gift of traveling. The next tip that I will talk about is really selling your stuff. Now, when I started traveling with just my book bag, I realized how much I don't really need all these things that I have back home. And I went through a bunch of my stuff and I just started selling it because I frankly didn't need it. I stopped buying all these frivolous things that I used to buy just so I can travel more. Now, I'm not telling you to sell everything, but a lot of stuff that you have at home, you don't really need. And take all of that money and move it to your travel savings account that you just made. Now, these side hustles can range from Uber, Lyfts, DoorDash, walking people's dogs, nannying, painting, or any of your side hustles that I know you have that you haven't tapped into yet. Now, my next tip is for very responsible people. Now, this one is using a credit card. Now, I personally do this, and just last year, I made over $650 in rewards, and I didn't really do anything outside the ordinary from what I do. Now, I'm not telling you which credit card to get or which one that I'd recommend. Maybe later I'll do some videos about that, but using a credit card that gives you some rewards back for things that you typically would already buy is a major gem. Just make sure that you do not go into debt to travel. I do not recommend going into debt to travel. But currently the credit card that I have, I get 3% cash back on online shopping. And that includes my flights, that includes hotels, that includes Amazon. Anything that I order online, I get 3% cash back. So for every $100 I spend, I get $3 back for it. And let me tell you, this adds up. But please, please, please be responsible and don't buy anything that you typically wouldn't buy if it was your debit card. Use your credit card as your debit card. And my last tip, but my most important tip, is budgeting better. I want everybody to have a dedicated budget. Like, go through your stuff and say, wow, I spent $600 last month on eating out. Because just by bringing lunch to work or making a sandwich, you'll save so much money. Just eat that sandwich, sis, so you can have mofongo in Puerto Rico. Which one would you have? Mofongo at your house or mofongo in Puerto Rico? It's a no-brainer, right? The heavy hitters for me are managing eating out, your Ubers, Lyfts, or car notes, and also your monthly subscriptions, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, all of these things that you typically don't even use. The gym membership that you haven't used, get rid of it. And by budgeting, even if you don't make a lot of money, you have a lot of money to wiggle around. Me personally, I learned to cut my hair because I spent so much money on haircuts. I bought a bike so that I could ride my bike everywhere instead of taking Ubers and Lyfts. I cook all my meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. And I put that money right into my travel savings account. What I typically do is when I get that paycheck, I move all that money to my savings account. So whatever I have left is what I can spend. So if there's $100 in that budget, I can only use that $100. I don't go over my budget. And that is real difficult and teaches you self-discipline. The major tip about this is to live below your means. And for everybody, it's different. For the last 4 years, I personally have not made over $30,000. I've been to over 25 countries, and I've been able to do that because I live below my means in every facet of my life. I prioritize travel. I had a dedicated travel savings account where I put the money every single month, and I maximized credit card rewards, which allowed me more money to put in my travel savings. So I hope this video cleared up a lot for you guys about how you go about saving for vacations, picking destinations, and how you can do it by yourself as well. Thank you guys so much for checking out this Travel Tip Tuesday. Truly appreciate you guys. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys look forward to in content. Thank you so much. I'm out.